Holy cow, summer is moving on, folks. End of August. That means the New York State Fair's on. That means it's time for pesto and pasta and seafood. Hello, everybody. It's Migueltio, the North Country Latino, coming to you live. We're back home, no longer in my mom's kitchen. And I gotta tell you, it was fun in there, but it was a challenge trying to get the camera high if you watched that episode. Anyways, tonight is also a special night saluting the Bronx, baby. And if this was an episode of Dora, I would be the map. And I'd like to say a special shout out to all my Bronx friends out there, to Danisha and Diego and Coquín Mexicano, to the Roman family, to Chase and Clemente, to anybody who goes to the Bronx. If you haven't been to the Bronx lately, you're missing something because it's not the Bronx they used to be. If you know what I'm talking about. It's a beautiful Bronx. There's a lot of things going on up there. Anyways, let's get going here. We'll see what we got. Normally, this recipe uses scallops, but okay, I'm in a small town. I only have a couple of supermarkets to choose from, and they generally do me really good. But guess what, folks? This week, they did not have any scallops. This is the first year I've made this recipe with something other than scallops. It's going to be fine. We got some crab meat in here. And it's going to be just fine. I mean, it's seafood, you know. It's not like I got something out of the Gulf there with good old fortified BP. Although, we keep praying that those people will get back to their livelihoods and everything down there in the spirit of cooking and eating seafood. And hopefully, all the BP mess will go away. But the Gulf folks and their businesses will thrive again. Because there's nothing like Gulf shrimp if you've ever had it. So what I'm doing is sauteing this in some non-fat spray. Getting it so it's starting to just get a little tint to it. You don't want it to be overdone. Well, let's see what we got over here. We have some chopped onion. We got some good old Goya Lavinia. And in this bowl, we are soaking some sun-dried tomatoes. I like to use the dried kind, not the kind that sit there in the oil and accumulate all the fat and everything. It's really cool. You just take one of these packets and you moisten them for a while in some water, and they're just fine like the oil kind. And of course we got some good old Hudson Mill, whole wheat, whole grain, penne. That's the pasta, baby. And some fat-free half and half, and some Parma sauce mix, which is lighter than your typical sauce mix with the pesto. A lot of pestos get oily and heavy and everything, and they're great sometimes, but I try to avoid them like the plague. We're going to boil that pasta in just a minute. Back to the seafood here. Starting to get a little brown to it. You don't want it to be heavy brown, you know, you're not making it Cajun Southern blackened. Just kind of stir it around so you've got it evenly coated and nothing getting burnt, of course. That's the goal of any food, isn't it? Alright, at this point in the game, I've taken the seafood off the pan, added another little coating, and I'm going to put the onions in the pan. Saute them really good, so that they're soft. You can chop onions very small, or you can use shallots if you want. I didn't have any of those on hand. They usually have them in the little stores, but I just didn't get them this time. Lost memory of shallots, oh well. I mean, what are shallots? Little tiny onions. So one or the other, you're going to be fine. And now we're going to take Lavinia, baby, and a cup of it, and add it to this fine little feast of onion, and let it boil down. Now, no, this is cooking wine, so you don't see me shaking a sip, okay? And you've got it here over the fire. It's going to start to boil up in a minute. And we're going to boil it down So it's almost gone. Over here on the cutting board, I've taken out the tomatoes. They're well re-moistened and everything, and we're going to cut them up so they're in little pieces. So while we're doing that, you say, well, what does this recipe have to do with the New York State Fair? Well, it's simple. My wife and my son go to the fair together because the girls are just too young. It's a huge state fair. And my wife doesn't like seafood. Well, she likes fish fries and stuff. She doesn't like mighty sculls, okay? So I have to eat shrimp kind of like around when she's hearing that or something like that. And this recipe was given to me by a pirate, one of my friends on the pirate web ring, of course, you know me, Captain Tito. This was given to me. So I started making it when she wasn't here, one of the first times she went to the fair, and it's just become one of those annual things that I make this recipe when they go to the fair. And while everything's bubbling here in the pan and the water's starting to boil for the pasta, I got those tomatoes nice and cooked up, cut ups. Now back here I got that pesto sauce. I'm adding 1. And another 1/4 cup of milk. Of course, skim milk. That's going to do the pesto sauce in good. Turn that one on and start whisking it together so it gets mixed well. You gotta support the North folks. Hey, they support the Latino community. They're always at the parade with a float. And I've seen them in other places too with stands and handouts to try to nutritionalize the community. Just gotta make sure you get something that's not over sodium and stuff like that. You know? Alright, this looks like it's boiling down good, so we're ready for action here. And we're gonna add some more things to this pan. Got the tomatoes, baby. Got the 2 cups of the fat-free half and half. Going right in. And that's going to saute for a bit. And get all nice and warm and yum. With this pesto, you got to stir it constantly, by the way. It's like anything on the stove. You don't stir it, it burns. You know what I'm saying? Oh, nice and thick. Now it's going in with the cream and the onions. This is going to be an awesome mix, baby. Stir that all together. Nice and thick. And not. You can always cook good and not have to cook heavy. You can keep it light. And look at this. Well, we've been working on all that other stuff. The water's boiling. Time for the pasta, baby. Well, that's thickening up a little bit. Stir in a 1/4 cup of Parmesan. Yeah, now that's splurging a little bit on the heavier side, but you're only using a 1/4 cup. And now that it's all stirred together, we're going to take that off the heat. While the heat's down, we're going to stir in the seafood. All nice and layered, coated. But the pasta's almost done. This is almost done, everybody. Ready to be enjoyed. Holy cow, it's time to take this pasta right off. Turn it off. Get the gloves on, baby. And it's time to strain. And after we strain, we mix it in. Tell you what, look at this. Get the gloves off again. Isn't that lovely? pasta and seafood and pesto, oh my. Well, everybody get out and do something this coming weekend. The summer's almost over. Here's a shout out to all my friends there, Coquí Mexicano, Denisha and Diego, for all the great community events in the Bronx. Here's to my friend Janelle Roman and all her friends at Frito for the Soul, but they're coming up Feria this weekend, which is to help with diabetes. My family had it, so it's very touching to me. Here's to my friend Daniela Paul out in Seattle with all her friends at the Bernie White Bear Garden and all the beautiful things in nature they're doing out there. Get out and enjoy it, everybody. If you're in those communities or anywhere you are, enjoy the rest of your day. This is Migueltio, the North Country Latino, saying, if you're hungry, it's time to eat. If the food's ready, you better eat it quick or somebody else will. Bye-bye.